Well, we're going out on video chat. Our very first guest today is Saskatchewan Roughriders star quarterback number 7, Cody Fajardo, who joins us from D.C., they tell me today. Happy New Year, Cody. District of Columbia, is that where you're at?
That is where I'm at, yeah. How we doing, guys? Happy to be on the show. I am home alone with my dog, as every off season, as my wife's in school, so it gets a little lonely around here.
Well, we're glad to have you aboard and chat some ball with you. And Cody, as a quarterback, who was your, not mentor, because I would say that you knew him, but maybe the guy that you looked up to would Brady be that guy? You're obviously interested in what Tom does. Or who is your guy at the quarterback position going up?
That's a great question. I get that a lot, but the guy who I really cling to when I was young was Brett Favre. Yeah. His passion for the way he plays the game, I tried to emulate that, and just every down counted. And he had the gunslinger mentality where it didn't matter what happened to play before, he's going to go out there and throw it. And then watching college ball and going through the college football process, I cling to Tim Tebow as well, a guy who speaks about his faith, just is who he is in the media, and love him or hate him, he's just going to give you the same person he is every day.
Tebow and Tom remind me of one similar thing, that is, how could you hate these guys? And if you hate them, then you got a problem, because I don't know what they would have done to make people dislike them, right? I mean, you don't have haters, do you? If you do, I haven't seen any.
I think at the professional level, you're always going to have some haters, and I've had some people reach out. I've had some years at Nevada where I've gotten death threats in my direct messages on Facebook, which is why I actually don't have a Facebook anymore. So, it's just part of the position that you're in. And for me, I just try to use the platform that I have. And like I said, love me or hate me, I'm going to be the same person I am every single day.
Good for you, Cody. Look, these guys got questions for you, too. I could talk to you all day. But the only real one that I have for you is this. When you signed with the Riders, I'm sure you expected one thing that it would be like. But now that you're through year one, what happened that you didn't expect of this whole, you know what I'm saying? What caught you off guard? Yeah, what did you not expect or see coming?
The only thing I could really say that I didn't expect was honestly hitting the goalpost the last play of the game. And to be honest, this whole offseason it's been tough thinking about it, because the hardest thing for me to cope with that whole ending is the play never got to be played out. So it's not like I threw an interception or I threw an incompletion or I threw a completion. The fact of the matter is it hit the goalpost and there was nothing that happened afterwards. And so for me, that's been really hard in my off-season preparation. And, my wife and I spent some time traveling and seeing family. And so that's been very helpful. But, yeah, the one thing I didn't expect was our season ending on a play that didn't play out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Cody, a great first season. How do you? What's the encore? How do you come back next season and duplicate, replicate, even do better? And I guess my other question to that is, what do you change this off season now going in as a starter, as the guy, as opposed to a guy looking to earn a job?
Yeah, those are two really good questions. I'm really excited to work with Coach Maas. We've had several conversations, and just the passion he brings as well. I think we see eye to eye on a lot of things, and he wants to do a lot of things that fit my strengths, which I'm really excited about. Going into the offseason, the number one thing is I want to be elite. And the way you be elite in this league or any professional sport is you got to be consistent. So I'm going to try and replicate next year as much as I can. Obviously, last year was kind of everything went my way. And so I'm expecting some speed bumps along the way, but I know adversity is going to hit sometime, and I'm ready to get after it. I think the number one thing I'm going to benefit from is going into a training camp as the number one guy. I've always been the 2 or the 3 where I don't get reps with the number ones. And I think that kind of hindered us a little bit last year because it took us a couple games to get going, me with the starters, and get the timing down. And I think that's why you saw us. I believe we were 1-4. So I'm really excited to get work with the ones from day one of camp. And that's one thing I'm focused on. The other thing, obviously, is just consistency. Coach Maas and I, like I said, we had a few conversations about what I can improve on, the things he thought I did really well in the year. So I'm going through every single game of last year, just breaking down myself and kind of using this time to focus more on myself, because when you watch film, usually you're watching the defense, and given the long offseason that we have, I now have time to just focus on myself, see what I did not so good and see what I did good.
Cody, you mentioned your offensive coordinator already with Jason Maas. That's what I wanted to ask you about, just how that relationship's been in the early stages since he's been, named the offensive coordinator, and how excited you are to work with him.
Yeah, absolutely excited. Just his track record of what he's got out of his quarterbacks is really exciting for me, and I think there's a lot of room for my growth as a quarterback. As the season progressed, I learned so much, and watching these games, I can see myself kind of evolve, which is a really cool thing to do when you can sit down and watch the games and see some mistakes you make in week 1, week 2, week 3, and then by week 8, week 9, you're not making the same mistake over and over again. So that I'm really excited about. I'm really excited just to pick his brain, a guy who's played the CFL quarterback position, who understands it. I think one of the best things he's going to bring is he understands what it takes to be a high elite CFL quarterback. And so he's not going to put too much on my plate or something that I can't handle. And so I think I'm going to be more comfortable going in there, understanding his offense and kind of making it all work for each other.
One of the reasons that I knew that you were going to be so successful here, and you reiterated it today when I asked what you didn't expect, it was a football answer. You're a football guy. You said it yourself. When things start to go wrong, which they will inevitably, you've signed a long-term deal. It's not always going to go right. You're prepared for that. But I mean away from the field. I remember the Labor Day Classic, you coming out of the news conference the day before going, oh, this is a pretty big game. It's like you had just dawned on you that this is like the Iron Bowl, man. This is like the Apple Cup, So that's what I mean. I mean, sort of off-field stuff. What did you not expect?
Oh, man. Yeah, the fans, just the support that we had through it all. I was expected to get a lot of people, disliking the way I played in the final game or something with my injury, and just the support for me, and not only me, but my family as well. The biggest thing I think I can take away from last year was when my family came up, when my dad came to a couple games, when my wife came up, it was like everybody just accepted them into the family. And when you're out there on the field, and it's nice to know that you don't have to worry about my wife sitting by herself or my dad sitting by themselves in the stands, because everyone's going to be able to, have a relationship with them or want to talk to them or be a part of their lives. So that was pretty cool. And just hearing it from their side of the story, obviously being on the field is one thing, but watching it from the stands is a little bit different. And so I always ask my dad or my mom who watches at home, or my wife who is in the stands, I always ask them, what did you see, or how was your experience? And it's pretty cool to go through a fan experience.
I'm just wondering, Cody, has your wife considered quitting school because she's now a film star here in Saskatchewan? All joking aside, what was that experience like for your wife? Because it is important that your family does enjoy the place that you work. What was that experience like for her?
Oh my gosh, she'll talk to about that day nonstop, and I just love to see how happy she was and how much it meant to her to be accepted by the fans. Because as a professional athlete, a lot of times the wife or the significant other doesn't get the recognition they deserve for the things they do behind the scenes. What my wife does for me behind the scenes, and to be able to go out there and she got the recognition she deserved of continuing to support me. She was in East Coast time, and I believe she had a final the next day. We were playing at BC, and she stayed up. She stays up the whole entire game, and then she watches the interviews after. And she stayed up till about 1 a.m, and she had an 8 o'clock final the next day. But that was just kind of the dedication that she has. And my wife's a very smart cookie as well. She's got straight A's here in their physical therapy doctorate program. So it's really cool for her to be a part of this as much as I am a part of it. And she sent out a few tweets before, and it's gotten a lot of likes or a lot of retweets. And some of her friends here are calling her kind of the Queen of Canada.
I love it. I love it. She probably is. Fan question and a football question from Chad Isaac. How hard was it to come into Nevada and follow the footsteps of Kaepernick and set the goals that he set there?
Yeah, great question. It was really hard because Kaepernick's senior year, which was my freshman year, we were the best our program's ever had. I think we finished 7th in the nation, which is really good, and we were about 1 win away from being in the Fiesta Bowl. But then the following year, we had a 6-year senior. We opened up at Autzen Stadium, and so our head coach decided to go with the older guy, and I was just a redshirt freshman, and we got our butts kicked. I actually scored my first collegiate touchdown in that game in mop-up time. And then a couple weeks later, we played Texas Tech at Texas Tech, and our head coach said, "Hey, look, Cody, I don't know when, but you're going to play." And so I was excited. I went out, and first series, we get a first down. He's like, "All right, Cody, go in." And so I go into the game not knowing what to expect and played pretty well. And then the next week, I get my first start. So it was just a constant battle of – when I started as a redshirt freshman was Kaepernick compared to Cody, and it got pretty grueling. It got pretty tough on me because I was trying to emulate things that Cap did, but I physically am just not as gifted as he is athletically. So it came to a point where I just told the media, I was like, "Look, I want to be Cody, and I want Kaepernick to be Kaepernick." And once I said that to the media, they started to erase the comparables and just kind of let me live my own dynasty, I guess.
Couple more, and the fans, they asked the best questions. From Jerry Hales, a female. "Hey, Cody, Happy New Year to you and yours. How is your healing process progressing?"
Yeah, Happy New Year to you too. It's great. I got cleared to throw the football on the 21st of this month, so I'm so excited to pick up a football. My wife and I went to Miami for New Year's, and we played some spike ball, and so I went out there, and I don't know if you know what spike ball is, but it's that round net, and you just kind of hit the ball into the net. So I needed to use my obliques for that, and I'm a pretty competitive guy, and I went full out and didn't feel anything in my side. So I know all's well in there, and so I'm excited to get back to training. It's been about a month and a half where I haven't been able to do much, so I'm really excited to just get back going.
And lastly, Cody, the Rush fans want to know how excited you are for January 18th. We're taking a party bus up there. Did you know that, Darren, by the way?
I saw that, too.
We don't miss a Rush game. They're great friends of ours. They're so excited to have you up there. The Rush themselves and, of course, the fans. And your thoughts on that night, January 18th, against the Colorado Mammoth?
I am so stoked. I'm so happy that I can be a part of it. I've heard nothing but great things about the atmosphere, about the games, the talent, and just having all the fans come out and reaching out to me and people who are saying they're coming to the game to see me. I'm excited just to interact with the fans again. Sometimes when you go from Canada to the U.S., it's nice because you don't get stopped or you don't get talked to all that much and you can just live a normal life. But sometimes you miss that. Sometimes you miss taking pictures with little kids, interacting with adults, fans, people who pay a lot of money to buy your jersey. I think one of the coolest things for my family this offseason or Christmas was getting all the fan reactions of them opening up my jersey on Christmas, and to be a part of someone's Christmas and to bring smiles to people's faces was actually pretty cool. And I showed all my wife those, and she showed me a lot of them as well. And we were really stoked about that. So I'm just excited to get around the fans again. And like you said, it's going to be a great atmosphere, and I can't wait to be a part of it.
Cody, you really make us look forward to football season. It's too far away, but we're so happy to have you, man. Thanks for this. All the best in 2020. We'll be seeing you soon at the Rush game. Safe travels.
No doubt. Thank you guys for having me on the show. It's always a blast.
Awesome. Cody Fajardo joining us from D.C. this morning on the Rod Pedersen Show. And just before we break, I will say this. I've had the pleasure of being around Cody a couple times, and people across the CFL and fans too, not just other teams, they say, is he really... Come on. He's not really that genuine.
The next
He's
interview.
more genuine than you think.
The next interview, no football talk, none of this. I want to hear a story, just one story that didn't go right or that this guy didn't land on a cloud of pillows.
How about two torn oblique muscles?
No.
That's adversity.
I want to hear a story that in Mexico and late one night, and I want to hear.
They don't exist.
I want to hear one.
Not everybody's like you.
I guess. Yeah, I was going to say I want to hear one of our stories as told by Cody Fajardo.
You want to know that he's human?
Well, just a little bit. Because
he's very human.
He is one hell of a decent guy. It seems like, yeah.
Very easy to cheer for, isn't he?
Yeah.
And that's why when I look at these teams across the CFL and the unrest Sure, 75% of the league were free agents going into the season, but here, you got a GM, you got a coach, and you got a quarterback. And when you got that, everything flows off that.
Oh, 100%.
Riders are in great shape.
Well, that's the biggest difference is, and Chris Jones was so successful in his time, and he just didn't get to the Grey Cup here, but he was growing and on that path. But the identity of the team was Chris Jones, right? When you thought about the Riders and their identity, it was Chris Jones. Now it's Cody Fajardo. And I think that is a deeper connection with the fans when you can have that connection, and the face of the franchise is your young quarterback.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.